Hey guys, and today I'm going to quickly just showing you guys how I actually paint my Ork skin. So the paints that we'll need today are Evil Sun Scarlet or something like that of that colour, Elysian Green, same again, doesn't really matter what colour, Contrast Shyish Purple or a Purple Wash, whichever, I just prefer to use that, and then lastly Rat Skin Flesh, or maybe a lighter colour, it's totally up to you. Sometimes I use Army Painter Barbarian Flesh, or I use Model Air Tan Earth, whichever is up to you. You can use any skin tone really. So let's just crack on with the painting of the Ork. So to start with, I airbrushed it with Styrolase Grey, and then I did an up from the top of pure white straight down. I did it quite heavy on the top of the head there, and then just made sure that I didn't go too much into all those gaps and recesses really. So what we're going to start off with is just get my palette. We're going to start with some Evil Sun Scarlet, and then just water that down quite heavily-ish. You can see it's quite heavy now, and then just place it all over the model really. And at the moment, yes, it does look very red, but later on we will knock that down. Make sure that the paint does go straight into those recesses, even though it looks vibrantly red. Later on, the greens and everything else will knock that right down. I try to follow the shape of the actual model as well, so like I'm dragging this down now, just so like when the wash comes through, when you do the next section, you will see the lines come through and it won't come as like a mess. And just continue that all over the model. In the next part, you're going to need some Elysian Green. You can use other kind of greens. I've used loads of different ones, and this is the favourite one that I've been using so far to get the Ork texture that I want. Obviously, if you want it darker or lighter, you can use different ones like Moot Green or Death Guard Green, but this is what I've been using over the top of the red colour skin I've been doing. So in this part of the video, I'm going to show you when I did my liver spots. This is totally optional of if you want to have liver spots on your Ork or not, but it's just literally Mornfang brown, but this is the time when you're going to need to add the liver spots to your model. So I just put a little bit on my palette and I water it down quite significantly to about that consistency. Clean my brush so I'll get a sharp point again. And I've learnt from the first time of doing this that the actual having less but bigger liver spots shows through a lot more when you put the green down. Also with the liver spots, I put a few on the neck. Sometimes you might not be able to see these, depending on which way you put your head. And some on the top of right at the top of the shoulders. And same again, some of these you might not see due to armour. And there we go. We've got some liver spots, so we'll just leave that to dry for a moment and then we'll move on to the green. So now it's time for some Elysian green. And on the palette, I'm going to put quite a little bit on there. And then add quite a bit of water, so it's watered down quite significantly. And this is what people call a glaze. I've always been learning about things like this, so I'm no professional when it comes to stuff like this. So now, as you can see, I'm just going over very lightly with the green, as many areas as possible, just going over it really lightly. And this process will take a lot longer than what you would normally if you were just painting the green straight away, but it's how I get the red to show through the green. And it's the same thing when you're doing the skin as well on the actual main part of the model. I try to keep light going from up to down on the skin, like following the actual lines of the skin. If you do get a little bit that pulls up like that, just wash your brush again and just remove it from the actual crevice. It doesn't matter too much unless you can see that the green is overtaking the red, because if not, you'll just lose the red shadow that you've placed in there. So now I'm going to go away and complete this first layer of the green all over the model, and then we're back with the second one and we'll see the difference. So everyone, off camera, I did the first layer of the green skin. As you can see, it's still quite red in a lot of the places, and this is why I go for the second layer of the Elysian green. Really, you could stop at this phase depending on how dark and how light you want it, like I mentioned earlier, and you can just see those liver spots coming through. It's no massive significance really, that's totally up to you what you want it to add in. And this is what the face looks like with just one layer on so far as well. So now I'm going to go away and do the exact same procedure again and just layer on the Elysian green in all over the model. Hey everyone, and now I've come back from doing the second layer of the Elysian green all over the orc knob, and it's looking good now. I really like this. I'm to a phase of where I actually like this shade of green for this orc. And like I've said numerous times now, you can go higher or lower, it totally depends on what you actually for your outcome. But a lot of people asked me about how I did my skin, and here it is. So that's still drying, but I'm going to show you now what the next step is of the orc skin. And I'll show you on this part of the arm here. And what I actually use, is a contrast shyish purple. And when I first got this, when I first bought it from Games Workshop, they said that I needed to buy a medium for it to use this. But you actually don't, you can actually just use water as well. For this step anyway, I don't really know about anything else. And it's really easy to use. So I'm just going to add a little bit of water to it. And now, I'm just going to add it to these recesses here. And it has gone on exceptionally heavy, like you can see. But now, clean your brush, wet your brush, and then use what's on the actual model to pull and place where you actually want the shadows. in the model, and I make sure that I get all the way around these rims of his random armband that Orks need. And I always, for this step, I pull down to up this time. So like earlier when I was going from up to down, for this one I go the other way. And this is just to add a little bit of shadow into the actual model. And I do that all over the model really, that's it. And I just make sure that I go in, add a bit of contrast paint, get around all the knobbly bits, all the way around into these muscle definitions. It's got to show off those muscles. And then on the fingers, it's the same. Make sure it goes into the gaps of the fingers. And then on the back of the hand here, just let it pull on its own really, and just drag where you want it really. I think that's quite an advantage with the contrast paints. It's quite you can move it and manipulate it really well. And if you have missed any green, you can just cover it up with this contrast paint. A little sneaky trick. Also, I like to add the purple shadow around like weapons, and it kind of cuts the difference between the weapon and the skin. That's the most least professional thing you've probably heard on a painting tutorial, but hopefully it makes some sense. And then I'll just do it everywhere, so like all underneath the chin, even though we're probably not going to see it really. And then on top here, the line between the cloth here and his actual neck, I'm just going to dab it into there. Same again to have that separation between skin and cloth and whatever else is needed. And I'll just do that all over the model. And there you have it, you just leave that to dry, and you do it exactly the same on the face. So with the face, I always usually start myself with the eyes, get straight in those shadows, so then that red that's in the eyes is hidden by the purple and gives you a better know about where the eyes are, so when you come to painting them later it's a lot easier. Also, you can actually paint the eyes whatever colour you want first, so I'd go for yellow and then the yellow would show through very lightly, but I don't want my eyes to be glowing really. So like that one's pretty much done now. I won't have to do that again unless you wanted to go for another highlight. And then make sure you get the purple right in the nose, and then pull it down for this over his lips and over there. And now re-water your brush, and I've just cleaned my brush, just removing some of the excess and pulling it and manipulating it into the shadows where I want it to go. I want the nose to be kind of purpley. I like it like that, I don't know why. I just think it makes it look a little bit different. And then on the top of the eyes, get a bit of a zoom. And like, it looks very, very shiny now, but there's another step after this. And the other thing you need to do is just throw a matte varnish on it and Also, the matte varnish will knit it together. It's totally up to you if you want to use one or not. I personally do. But that's just totally up to you guys, so I'll let you guys make the decision on that and what it looks like. And there we have it, and then we'll just leave that to dry, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's dried. Hey everyone, and here is the finished product of the tutorial, what I finished. And you can see I've added some little bits more, like I've done some of the weaponry and stuff like that. If you guys want to see any more tutorials on my Ork stuff, just let us know. I can do some lighter or darker skin tone things as well. Also, I just swapped the heads really. I want to use this head on something else now, but I've got that one done. So yeah, thank you so much everyone for tuning into this very long tutorial for myself. Hope you all enjoyed it. Please drop a comment below if you want. If you guys have tried this Ork skin technique out, it'd be really great to know that it's working for other people. If you've got any questions, please put them in the comments below and I'll answer them as soon as possible. Don't forget to like, comment and hit the bell thing and stuff as always. And I'll see you hopefully in another one. Peace out everyone, stay safe, don't forget to wear your seatbelts, love you all. Bye!